Hello everyone, welcome to my video. I'm Miao. Do people lost their jobs in China? Do the companies delay salaries here? How does a middle-class woman in Beijing suddenly lose not just her job, but also her home? She wasn't born in Beijing, but she had a good job, stable income, and a life here. But suddenly, in 1 year, she lost everything. Her salaries stopped paying, and her landlord asked her to move out. That's the story of my friend. She's a Beijing Drifter. Let's begin with who she is. She works in the medical architecture industry. For a long time, she is the most successful one among all of my friends. Fastest career growth and highest income. She's that kind of person we thought would make it in Beijing. But what went wrong? The first crack, unpaid salaries. Last year, her company started delaying salaries. The employees first waited and then complained. At last, they have no choice but to sue the company. So she just lost her jobs. Many people in her company were forced to leave. But in recent years, there are a lot of lawsuits like this. Her case has been stuck over 4 or 5 months, no progress at all. Of course, she's trying to find a new job. We don't think it's so difficult because, she has a lot of experience. But in fact, it's more difficult than we thought. It feels like every company is shrinking, cutting costs, it's freezing hiring, no taking in new people. When things couldn't get worse, another problem came. The second shock, losing her home. She rents the apartment in Beijing. Her landlord suddenly decided to sell the apartment and asked her to move out as soon as possible with the compensation of 1 month rent. She had no choice but have to move out. So no job, no stable income, and no place to live now. Today, I'm here to help her move. Through her story, you may begin to understand how people are not from Beijing try to survive in this city. Today, we will take a closer look at of a Beijing Drifter, her life, her rent, her instability, and the real cost of moving in Beijing. But I want to say this clearly. It's not about how miserable my friend is. She's not miserable, totally not miserable at all. Life rise and fall. So just a short period of her unemployment life. Of course, it's not a success story, but not tragedy either. It's just the ordinary life of people who is not Beijing local to trying to survive in this biggest cities, one of the biggest cities in the world. Where did she end up moving? Yeah, keep watching. I will tell you the answer. And I will also explain more about this situation. So let's go and meet her first. Actually, the moving company will handle the actual move. I'm here to provide the emotional support. So let's go find her. See? This fancy and upscale area, the community. The location is very good. It's inside the 4th Run Road and in the east. But this is not her residence. Her apartment is an old residential complex hidden behind this fancy community. So, it's actually a bargain spot. There's even a bar and a gym club. See, that's her residential area, the old residential complex. Her rent is about 5,000 yuan. But if you want to rent an apartment in that area, the fancy one, more than 10,000 yuan. Yeah, a very small community, not a large space. So, finding a parking spot is really difficult in this old residential complex. Yeah, her building. She's probably already packed out all the things. Yeah, they arrived. Full. Happiness. 哇，我天哪！ 不用换鞋了吧？
不用了，不用了，已经收拾成这样了。
Look at this, I told you.
欢迎光临。
She's already packed everything. 哇塞，东西也不少。酒啊？
泡的酒。
room tour，room tour 一下。She's moving out, so no privacy about our room. I can film it. One dining room. This is bedroom. One dining room, one bedroom. And here, kitchen and bathroom. A small but cute room. Her only furniture is this one. 这是你的是吧
Yeah.
And the other furnitures belongs to her landlord. Now we are waiting for the moving company. Yeah. 你还记得这是你第几次搬家吗？第几次搬家？
几次？应该是第4次吧。
两次我知道，一次在楼下，一次在。
还有一次，1、2、3，1、2、3、4，我第5次。
第5次。你住的最久的一次是在哪儿？
应该就是在这儿吧，6年。
404。
对。
6年，对，也是我们去的最多的。这房子我都没来过。
这几个月。
你现在怎么样？焦虑吗？
实不相瞒，焦虑，会焦虑，焦虑。如果找不着工作怎么办？
那肯定。
焦虑这个，如果生活品质下降怎么办？其实还是挺焦虑的。大环境不好嘛，
大环境
是吧？
这是你第一次失业，就找工作这么困难，平常都是非常容易就找到了，对吧？
是。
所以你最不适应的是什么？
就是突然一下工作这么多年，突然一下没工作了，然后在家，不管是说做自己事儿也好，或者闲着也好，还是有点不适应。这是最不适应的，因为还没有找到自己的一个节奏。
对，这个是，因为之前都是别人挖你做，基本上无缝衔接，就除非比如旅个行，但你已经确定了下一份工作是什么。
对，是这样。对，其实现在这种情况就是，说不好，你也不知道什么时候能找着合适的工作。
对，你官司怎么样
了？就是现在仲裁已经基本 OK 了，现在就等到1审。就现在公司的这个策略就是拖着。就是不给你之前的工资，
就一直不给。
对。
Okay, the moving company, the driver called, so he's right understairs. So yeah, let's begin to do the work.
可以了，
可以了。
你把这个收起来。
你好，搬家是这儿。
哎，你好，是这儿。
我们直接进来了啊。
您看一下。
打包好都是吗？
对，基本是。
这个柜子是。
对，
这个柜子是。
然后那个不拿，然后这个也不拿，然后这个。
这都不拿，就这一个柜子，还有所有的箱子。
里边还有吗？
里边还有一点。
看一下。
对，看一下。
While they are doing the work, and I will tell you where she will moving to. She made a very practical decision. She will move back to the home first and wait until after the Spring Festival to look for the new job and new department in Beijing to live. She did the math. Staying in the city costs more than living it. But the premise for doing this is that her hometown is not very far away from Beijing, only 200 kilometers in Hebei province, 2.5 hours driving, close enough to return, but far enough to feel the difference. But it doesn't mean she will never come back. She will come back in Beijing, just because now it's happened to be the worst time. Why I say this time is the worst time? Yeah, I will tell you when we on the way to the to her hometown. And so yeah, well, I will tell you this later. So let's continue the work. Although I don't know what to do.
沉甸甸的。
就是。Her notebook about her work. the proof of hard working. Empty, and these 4 things I will take them with my car. Yeah. Okay, she will go with this moving company, and I will drive my car to her hometown. And yeah, how much? 多少钱这个？About the moving company.
1400多。
1400多。
对。
1,400 yuan. Not very expensive.
拜拜。
拜拜。拜拜。Yeah, see her at her hometown. Also, my first time to Changzhou, Hebei province. That's her hometown. Let's go. Okay, now I'm on my way to my friend's hometown, and I will explain why I say this is the worst time. Because next month is the Spring Festival, you know, the most important holiday in China. There is an unspoken rule here. It's almost impossible to find a new job before the Spring Festival. Most companies will wait until after the holiday to start a new business year, budgets, plans, and hiring, if there's any. You know, in 1 or 2 year, recent 1 or 2 years, the finding a job is hard. But before the Spring Festival, just make it harder. It's just like the Q4, everything is postponed. No big decisions. And at the same time, the apartment are also very hard to find. So, you know, my friend will go back to home anyway during the Spring Festival. So, yeah, she will handle everything after the holiday. So now you understand why I say, yeah, this is the worst time. So, yeah, you need 2.5 hour driving. So let's see you in another city. See you later. Now we are in Changzhou, Hebei province, Changzhou town. Wow, so many buildings here. Wow, see the residential in this area. Larger space, right? It's not a small space like Beijing's community. It's pretty good. And my friend's house is apartment. Is also very good. Have enough space. Yeah, but you know, the only one problem is this is in Hebei, not in Beijing. Yeah, if I was just kidding to her, if her apartment has the wheels, we can push the apartment to all the way to the Beijing. That's great. It's very comfortable to live here, but yeah, the problem is it's not Beijing. Yeah, I just asked my friend the price of per square. About the apartment is 10,000 yuan. Yeah, it's cheap relatively. Yeah, compared to Beijing. But in Beijing you cannot buy an apartment like this price. Yeah, usually over 50,000 yuan. Yeah. Oh, they are still unloading. Yeah. During our way, I pick up one of my other friend. Yeah. Okay, let's go upstairs. Okay. Oh, 这儿呢. Yeah. That's my friend's home. Her own home. Before we finish today's video, yeah, I have to say it again. It's just a short period of unemployment of my friend. Yeah, it's kind of difficult, but it's also temporary. I believe after the Spring Festival, she will find a new job and then she will rent another apartment in Beijing. So if today's story worry you, don't, please don't. She will be okay. And in the end, things usually be work out, right? In fact, in first-tier cities like Beijing and Shanghai, people leave for all kinds of reasons. They go back to their hometown and maybe never come back again. But that doesn't stop the new waves of people continuing to the major cities to chase their dreams. Okay, that's all for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe my channel. See you next time. Bye bye.